Doctor Strange out here fighting elves now. So, as we get the new current Doctor Strange, now that he's the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard, we get his first task. So he's trying to go back to Earth. That doesn't work. Hugin and Mugen, the Odin's Ravens come and they call him because Sif wants him. So she sends him on a task to Alfheim, where he gets, Angela hires her to help him out. So basically, what's going on? We got the ruler of the little angels of heaven, basically wants to come open up this coffin where she killed this elf and cut off his head. And these other elves are like, he's royalty. You can't just cut off his head. And basically, he was an evil elf, an evil little magic elf that Odin hired the angels to kill back in the day. And technically she did, but she never got proof since he was in the coffin. So she wants to cut off his head. And even though Odin and Thor are both dead, they're still like, that doesn't excuse us from the deal. Deal still deal. Still need proof. And the elves, they're like, this lady elf, she's like, she's his grandma and he was a prince, but she also hates him. But she's like, we can't just let you desecrate corpses. So Strange is like, how about I just go, since I'm a doctor, I go and I look in and I can confirm he's dead, and will my confirmation be enough for you? Basically comes as a compromise. But old angel chick, she tells him he has to cut off the elf's head because since he's magical, when the coffin opens, he'll probably come back to life, essentially. So he doesn't agree to that, but he's like, I'll put a barrier around him so he won't get out. So he goes in, puts the barrier, but the elf breaks out. He's all powerful in magic as he's talking. Strange tries to hit him with some chains, but he blocks. He's like, man, that's so ruthless. I like it. He's like, it's my first time meeting a mortal. I didn't know y'all could be so interested. So they're tussling, and he's like, oh, you work with like Watum and Agamotto. I can sense that magic on you. And he's basically talking about how their magic works is like the flow of the universe. And he's like, but the world and reality has gaps, and the gaps of potential or what could be, and that's the avenue of magic I work in, those gaps, whereas you work in the linear flow. So he's beating Strange, they're tussling back and forth. As Strange, opens up the shield so Angela can come help him, but he makes like a little fake angel chick and starts killing the other angels and elves and stuff as they're tussling. And Strange is like, all right, how about I just talk you down? We can just, well, what did you want? And he was like, well, I just want to go back to my work since Odin interrupted. And Strange was like, okay, what is your work? And he's just like, well, I want to go into 10 realms and gather all the magic, and I want to kill all the kids in the 10 realms. And look at Strange's face. This is the most like, I beg your pardon face I've ever seen in the comic panel. And he's like, oh, so you ain't gonna help me? It figures. So they continue fighting, and then at the end of the chapter, Strange busts out this little magic all red and black, and that's how it ends. The fight's still gonna continue.